Well, hello, I'm Joe Spina, and welcome to The Joe Show, or Life in the Fast Lane, if you'd like, also known as Common Sense and Frankly Speaking. Well, guess what? You know who wears masks? Bandits and robbers. They wear masks. Well, I'm neither. I'm not a bandit, and I'm not a robber. And I'm taking this damn mask off because you know what? As of today, it's official. Portugal News on April 28th, 2021. The American Institute of Physics, get this, the American Institute of Physics has vigorously tested all kinds of masks, from the N95 to cloth masks to whatever you want, any configuration you can think of. And after an exhaustive study, as expected, by the way, this is no surprise to the American Institute of Physics, the N95 mask came out best of any of them. Nevertheless, most of the viruses still go through. Net result, not that good. As for the rest, utterly useless. Now think about this. I've said this from day one. You know, this white guy with the gray hair, it's called wisdom, old age. You know, sometimes we know a little bit because we've lived a little while. Think about a fishnet, or if you like to play tennis, then a tennis net. So you're playing tennis and you hit a bad shot, net catches it and doesn't go through, and that's it, and you serve again. Now, the reason why that ball, the tennis ball, doesn't go through that net is because the weave, the gap between the parallels and the verticals, is like a little square in there, is actually smaller than the size of the ball, so that's the ball can't get through. Similarly, if you go fishing and you're trying to catch minnows, you got to have a very fine fish net to catch a minnow. Doesn't have to be that fine to catch a tuna. So all things in nature are nothing more than a weave, particularly a mask. It's a weave. It's, vertical or parallel lines going in vertical, horizontal directions. Boom, 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 boom. And in between's a gap, otherwise known as a square, or whatever you want to call it. And a virus, a pathogen, or any type of foreign object that's airborne has size. And if it happens to be smaller than the gaps in the mask that you're wearing, guess what? The mask is useless. It's going to go through like as if it isn't, not even there. And that's fundamentally what my argument has been for a long time. And furthermore, think about this. If you got a mask on, you're still breathing, so air goes through there. And why wouldn't pathogens go through on the air that you're breathing? I mean, it just makes sense. Now, interestingly, all of a sudden, if you know, or if you paid attention to the news, there's been an update. A couple of weeks ago, the CDC came out and said, and I want to stress this, they say mask, there's a change in language. They play with semantics here. Got nothing to do with science. Mask may help, understand this word, critical word, may help prevent people who have COVID-19 from spreading the virus to others. So they recommend, they don't mandate, they recommend that people wear face masks in public settings, especially when they are social distancing measures are difficult to maintain. Wearing a face mask may limit, may, not necessarily does, limit exposure to respiratory droplets and large particles. And may help prevent people who have COVID-19 from spreading the virus. May. Well, that's all hypothetical. It's not based on science whatsoever. As a matter of fact, two very astute scientists, by the way, physicians, a Dr., I hope I say this right, Rousseau, and a Dr. Setzema, both of whom, one's retired, by the way, and the other is still an assistant professor, both taught at the University of Illinois at Chicago, and both were experts on respiratory protection and infectious diseases. And they came to the same conclusion, that masks are fundamentally useless for the exact same reason that the American Institute of Physics came to the conclusion after vigorous testing of all kinds of masks. So folks, you know, you have to really think about this. When they say follow the science, it'd be nice if politicians did exactly that, but they're politicians, they don't follow the science. And they play around with words. So it becomes a words game. Let me read something to you here. And it says, the scientific tests show, and this is Dr. John Clare, the scientific tests show, and this is in bold, masks should not be used. And I'm quoting now. He says, I always loathe to scream conspiracy, preferring to shout stupidity and incompetence, which is the hallmark of his present administration. And the evidence seems to confirm my view, as most of the various government scientists agree that the rules from the CDC and the guidelines are absurd and indeed counterproductive. More and more members of the medical profession are calling for some sanity as universities in the United States start locking down students, causing serious trauma and an increase in suicides, while one of the US chief medical officers says that the chance of a school-age child dying from the covert disease is less than 1 in a million. But that doesn't stop an army of little tyrants having a field day, bossing people around and causing untold collateral damage. It's time to stop the nonsense.